In the first episode of his podcast, my friend and fellow dad blogger Casey Palmer asked if he was black enough. And this immediately reminded me of characters like Randall from This Is Us and Sam from Dear White People. And what I told him is that we need to get past this idea of a monolithic definition of what it means to be black or what it means to be white or what it means to be Hispanic, because we are all unique individuals. Hey Google, what does it mean to be black?
Here's the definition of black. Of the very darkest color owing to the absence of or complete absorption of light, the opposite of white, the opposite of white, the opposite of white.
The opposite of white. So I started watching the new Yappy, Young Asian Professional series on Wong Fu.
You know, if you meet an Asian guy, there's a 1 in 13 chance his name is Andrew. There's a 1 in 5 chance he's an engineer.
And also caught the accompanying lunch break episode on more Wong Fu, where they were asking about the criteria, about what it meant to be a good Asian or a bad Asian. And it got me thinking, am I being Asian enough? Well, here are some of the criteria that came up in that lunch break episode, so let's see how I do. Do you like dim sum? Generally, yes. The only thing is that I've started to get a little bit bored of it, so it's always interesting when I go somewhere and they put a bit of a unique spin on a classic dish, but generally speaking, yes, I do like dim sum. Do you like to eat weird stuff? Something that I've always said is awful is not that awful. I'm a big fan of all kinds of random kind of organ meat, and I've eaten a variety of different kinds of dishes and animals too. I've had kangaroo and camel and escargot and duck tongue and all sorts of things. So yeah, I do like weird stuff. Did you do Kumon or Model UN? No. I actually didn't do any extra tutoring outside of school, and also never went to summer school aside from this one little brief session that I had after grade 7 where we did some science experiments for fun, but that wasn't really, like a summer school kind of thing. So no, none of that. Did you go to Chinese school? No. I don't remember this personally, but my parents have told me that I started crying super hard even before they enrolled me. But that's probably why my Chinese is so terrible. Did you learn how to play the piano or any string instrument? Basically, no. It was part of the regular curriculum at the public school that I went to. So we had a year of recorder, a year of ukulele, a year of guitar, and a year on the keyboard. But I never actually had any formal lessons outside of regular school. Did you go to school for business, engineering, or law? Are you a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or a disgrace to the family? I guess I'm a disgrace to the family. When I first went to university, the plan was to get into accounting. So I took like economics and stuff like that to as some of the prerequisites to get into the Bachelor of Commerce program. But I never ended up pursuing that, and I'm getting a degree in psychology and English literature. And I make my living today as a freelance writer. So I guess I fall under the category of disgrace to the family. To be fair, I am a small business owner, so that's something. Did you ever get a C or worse in school? No. The worst grade that I ever received was a C+. And that was, I think in grade 6, no, maybe grade 7. And it was because the teacher was basing the grade relative to your potential rather than your absolute performance. And she said that I was slacking off and I was taking it too easy and I could have done a lot better. Maybe she was fair, but that was heartbreaking to me because generally speaking, I've always done pretty well in school, all A's and B's. Do you refrain from turning on the heat or air conditioning? In the car, I will turn it on if I'm hot or I'm cold. At home, yeah, I tend to turn the thermostat all the way down, and even though we have air conditioning in our house, I don't use it all that often unless it does get quite hot in here. So yeah, generally speaking, I guess. Do you always grab extra napkins? Yes, I do. Whenever I go to McDonald's or Starbucks or anything like that, I'm the kind of person that loads up on the free napkins. Do you check in on your grandparents every once in a while? No, I guess not. I was raised a lot by my grandparents on my dad's side when I was a kid, so obviously I spent a lot of time with them, but both of them have since passed away, so I have my one grandma left, and really I don't check in as often on her as I should, but we do go out for like family meals and stuff, so I do see her on a fairly regular basis. Have your parents ever cut your hair? And do they still? Not to my knowledge. My oldest memory, I guess, was going down to Chinatown to get like cheap haircuts, but I don't ever remember my parents actually cutting my hair. Do you drive a Toyota? No, not currently. Aside from sharing my mom's Corolla when I was first getting my license, I've never actually owned a Corolla of my own. To be fair, I've also only ever owned Japanese cars. So I've had an Acura, a Honda, a Subaru, and now a Nissan. Are you good at net sports like tennis and badminton? I would say I am not good at them, but I do enjoy playing tennis, and I'm quite terrible at it. There's some random videos floating around on YouTube of me playing tennis. So I do enjoy it, but I wouldn't say that I'm particularly good at it, no. Can you dance? Like the K-pop dance crews? I have a horrible sense of rhythm and balance. That said, I'm pretty good at like dance games. So I've been pretty good at games like Dance Dance Revolution and Pump It Up and Dance Central. But if there aren't arrows floating up the screen or anything like that, I'm gonna be pretty terrible at it and I'm gonna look awfully awkward when I'm dancing. But I guess I enjoy dance games if that's something. That's pretty Asian, isn't it? That the only dancing I can do is if it's in the context of a video game. Do you like basketball, Boys to Men, and BMWs? Yeah, I guess so. I don't really follow basketball anymore. I was following it much more during Michael Jordan's heyday and the repeat of the three-peat, so like during like the 90s. But I haven't really been following basketball lately. I've always been a big fan of Boys to Men, and I'm not really here or there with BMWs. I don't mind them, but they're probably not my favorite vehicle. So, tallying up my Asian score, that is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 15, which divided by 3 is 2 out of 5, which would be 40%. And that is definitely a failing grade. So it was pretty Asian of me to be able to calculate that percentage in my head, right? Anyway, so I guess that wraps things up for this week. I guess I'm not Asian enough, whatever that means. But yeah, I'll list all these 15 questions in the accompanying blog post, which I'll link in the video description. And you can decide for yourself whether you're Asian or not, whether you are Asian enough. So until next week, I'm still Michael Kwan, and I will catch you in the next one. Hey Google, play the theme song from Young and Dangerous.
Playing Ek and Chang on Google Play Music.
I don't think that's right. Peace.